Hello guys, I'm Tom, and today we'll take a look at all the demons from the Conjuring Universe. The story that gave birth to the Conjuring cinematic universe begins with a character whose presence set the terrifying tone that defines the entire saga, Bathsheba Sherman. This figure is inspired by the alleged paranormal events that took place in Harrisville, Rhode Island. According to legend, Bathsheba was born in 1812 and was said to be a descendant of a woman executed during the infamous Salem witch trials in 1692, which fueled the belief that her bloodline was cursed, carrying the blood of witches in her veins. Originally named Bathsheba, in her youth she was known as a cheerful girl, a lover of nature and herbalism. But over time, her attraction to dark and mysterious rituals transformed her into something completely different. No one knows for sure what triggered this change, but her name eventually became Bathsheba, as if she had sealed a pact with dark forces. Married to Judson Sherman, a wealthy man and mother to a child, her life seemed peaceful. Until one morning, Judson found Bathsheba sacrificing her baby in front of the fireplace, in what appeared to be an act of devotion to Lucifer. After this horrifying incident, Bathsheba fled into the woods, climbed a tree, and before taking her own life, cursed anyone who dared to live on her land, promising to return to protect what she considered hers. Her spirit never left. It's said that her demonic presence continues to torment those who dare live in her former home, as seen in The Conjuring, where her spirit haunts the Perron family with increasingly terrifying phenomena, from strange noises to physical attacks and even death. It was at this point that the renowned paranormal investigators, the Warrens, decided to step in. Today, some experts suggest that Bathsheba is not merely a vengeful spirit, but an infernal entity that has gained power over the years through her connection to dark forces. Her intelligence and sadism make her far more dangerous than a simple ghost, and her ability to manipulate and collaborate with other evil entities, such as Annabelle, makes her an even greater threat. Another disturbing figure in this universe is La Llorona, a specter from Latin American folklore who appears in The Curse of La Llorona. Although the film was not well received, the legend behind La Llorona, known in some versions as Maria or Luisa, remains one of the most terrifying. The story goes that after discovering her husband's infidelity, La Llorona, consumed by rage and sorrow, decided to drown her children. However, guilt overwhelmed her, and she threw herself into the water to join them in death. But instead of finding peace, she became trapped between worlds, condemned to cry eternally. From that moment on, anyone who hears her weeping will be marked and hunted by her until death. Her bond with water is unbreakable, and she can manifest in rivers, lakes, or even small puddles. In the film, her appearance is linked to a cursed fate for the children she follows, marking them with a burn on the arm as a sign that they are doomed. In the story, while she is vulnerable to certain objects crafted from materials found in the forest where she committed her crime, she can be repelled using a sacred amulet during the film's climax. Curiously, La Llorona is the only entity not directly connected to Annabelle or the Nun, despite being part of the Conjuring universe. One of the most mysterious and chilling figures from The Conjuring 2 is the Crooked Man, a strange and distorted being, tall, thin, and with a macabre gait that echoes the sound of cracking bones. His appearance, complete with a hat, round glasses, and a purple suit, leaves an unsettling impression, and his deep, almost poetic voice makes him even more disturbing. His story is linked to a spinning music box bearing his image, which remained dormant until Valak, the demonic nun, began manipulating cursed objects. Although a standalone movie for The Crooked Man was planned for 2019, the project was ultimately canceled. Still, his story remains an enigma within the universe. Finally, The Conjuring 2 also features Bill Wilkins, the infamous poltergeist from the Enfield case. In life, Bill was a cruel and authoritarian man, obsessed with control, which made him a feared figure within his own home. As he aged, his brutality worsened until he died alone, bleeding out in his favorite armchair. His spirit, full of hatred, haunts any families who dare live in his former house, manipulated by Valak, who uses his rage to spread terror. In the Conjuring universe, we delve into a story that, throughout its installments, reveals the crucial role of certain cursed entities and people who, due to their connection with dark forces, become key pieces in unraveling the terror. In The Conjuring 2, we discover that Bill Wilkins, the poltergeist from the Enfield case, is nothing more than a puppet manipulated by the demon Valak. Although he initially appears to be a hostile spirit acting on his own, by the end of the film, Bill takes an unexpected turn, helping Lorraine Warren with crucial clues that lead her to the truth about Valak. Moving on to The Conjuring 3. The Devil Made Me Do It, we are faced with Isla Kastner, also known as the Occultist. Adopted by Father Kastner, a man obsessed with satanic cults, Isla was raised in an environment of psychological abuse and constant religious pressure. What seemed to be a life of faith turned into a nightmare that led her down the path of occultism. As a young woman, she dedicated herself to performing dark rituals, becoming directly responsible for the paranormal phenomena that terrorized the Glatzel family. Throughout her life, she made pacts with demons, spreading suffering and becoming a ruthless being. Eventually, her connection to evil dragged her to her downfall, with her soul being claimed by one of the demons she herself had summoned. Moving on to one of the most terrifying icons of the saga, Annabelle, it is crucial to understand that the doll is not an entity in and of itself, but rather a malevolent conduit for a demon. Originally a porcelain doll created in 1943 for the Mullen's daughter Annabelle, tragedy struck when the girl died in an accident and her parents attempted to contact her spirit. Unknowingly, they summoned a demonic presence that took possession of the doll, turning it into a threat. The entity, known as Malthus, took control of the object, constantly seeking new victims. This demon uses the innocence of childhood objects, like dolls, to infiltrate homes and spread terror. But Annabelle is not the only cursed object in the Warrens' universe. In their museum lies a samurai armor that once belonged to a cruel warrior from feudal Japan. Upon his death, his spirit became bound to the armor, and it is said that whoever wears it is possessed by his bloodlust, becoming a killing machine. The Warrens secured it after a series of rituals to prevent further victims. Another disturbing object is a wedding dress tied to the tragic story of Queen Lane, a woman who, blinded by jealousy, murdered her fiancé and several family members. After her death, her spirit was trapped in the dress, known as the Bloody Bride. Whoever puts it on is possessed by Queen's vengeful spirit, driving them to commit violent crimes on their wedding day. The most chilling part is that the dress cleans itself after each massacre, ready for its next victim. Each of these cursed objects and the stories behind them add a layer of terror and mystery to the Conjuring universe, revealing that evil is not only found in spirits, but also in the objects that harbor them. In the dark world of the paranormal, there exists a terrifying entity known as the Ferryman, linked to a set of cursed coins. During the 1960s, the Warrens investigated the phenomenon following the tragic death of a young woman, allegedly under the influence of this entity. According to the testimonies of the victims, the Ferryman would appear in their dreams, demanding a payment to prevent death from coming for them. Those who refused to comply would ultimately be claimed by death, turning into lifeless corpses. To this day, theories persist about the origin of the curse. Are the coins themselves to blame, or is it the ferryman who resides within them? The Warrens possess some of these coins, marked with the Ferryman symbol, a clear connection to the myth of Charon, the boatman of the underworld. Moving on to one of the darkest figures in the saga, we have Malthus. This demon, one of the main antagonists, is a frequent presence when it comes to the possession of the Annabelle doll. His first encounter with the public occurs in the film Annabelle, where he is worshipped by a cult known as the Ram, a group that seeks to offer souls to the demon. Malthus has existed since the beginning of time, collecting souls both in the earthly realm and in hell. His demonic nature drives him to sow chaos, showing no mercy and toying with his victims before snatching their souls away. This humanoid demon, with a terrifying appearance, horns, claws, and white eyes, rarely takes a physical form, preferring instead to possess objects such as Annabelle or even a scarecrow, as shown in the film. As he grows stronger, his form changes, demonstrating his capacity for growth and evolution. It is speculated that he can teleport through shadows, a power that allows him to strike his victims quickly. In real-world demonology, Malthus is associated with Malthus, a dangerous entity described in the Ars Goetia, who demands countless souls in exchange for his favors. On the other hand, Valak, the fearsome figure known as the Nun, stands in contrast to Malthus within the saga, though their exact relationship remains unclear. Valak is considered more powerful and often prefers to manipulate lower-ranking entities to achieve his goals. This demonic figure has the ability to take on various forms, but his most well-known appearance is that of a nun, a religious symbol that unsettles believers and allows him to hide among them. According to the story, Valak was once an angel who rebelled against God and fell into hell. In demonology texts, he appears in the Pseudomonarchia Daemonum and the Dictionnaire Infernal, and throughout the centuries, he has been referenced by occultists such as Johann Weyer. In The Nun 2, it is revealed that Valak seeks to possess the eyes of Saint Lucy, a powerful relic that would grant him clairvoyance and, consequently, dangerous omniscience. In the demonic hierarchy, Valak ranks above Malthus, serving as the president of Hell, commanding entire legions, and answering only to Belial. Lorraine Warren, a descendant of the chosen ones of St. Lucy, is the only one capable of facing this demonic entity. Although in The Nun 2 and in the saga's post-credit scenes, it is suggested that Valak's story still has much more to be revealed. And that would be everything we know so far about the demons of the Conjuring Universe. Dark, relentless, and deeply unsettling entities that have left their mark not only on the films, but also on the collective imagination of those of us who have seen them lurking in the shadows. Personally, I find it fascinating how each demon, from Valak to Malthus, represents not just pure evil, but also deeply human fears, abandonment, pain, vengeance. But tell me, what do you think? Were you already familiar with all these demonic entities? Which one do you believe is the most powerful or terrifying of them all? And if you had the chance to face one, knowing the Warrens won't be there to help you, would you dare? Leave your answers in the comments, as well as your general opinion on this darker side of the Conjuring universe. I'd love to read your thoughts and share more stories like this with you. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to share it to support the channel, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of my new videos.